Hare Krishna, dear devotees. We welcome once again to you this Bhakti Sangha Japa forum for the Bhakti Sangha interview. So the newsletter interview, which is happening for each and every month, and this month we are very fortunate, as it was a festive season for this month, and we are very fortunate to have with us His Grace Sukumar Gaur Prabhuji to give us his association and to share with us his realizations. So I welcome Prabhuji to the call. And before moving on with Prabhuji's interview, I would like to read the introduction about Prabhuji. So His Grace Sukumar Gaur Prabhuji was born in Maharashtra, India in 1980 and brought up in a social background where spirituality was often questioned. Later, he developed a natural taste for inquiry into the mysteries of God's creation. Past College of Engineering, Pune, Engineering in Pune, Mechanical Engineering in 2003. He came in touch with the devotees of ISKCON in 2003. He found all his questions answered in the books of Srila Prabhupada. As a student of MBA Finance, he studied Srila Prabhupada's books and became a sincere practitioner. He joined the NCDEX, which means National Commodities and Derivatives Exchange, Mumbai, as assistant manager and worked for 3 years. Later, he took on a 2-year brahmachari training course in Sri Sri Radha Gopinath Temple, Mumbai, and was initiated into the Brahma Madhava Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya by His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj in 2010. He was in the youth preaching department and was in the seva of guiding the youth. He always wanted to share his joy of Krishna consciousness with the youth. So as also we are also having Prabhuji here to share his experience and his joy with the youth who are all seeing this for this interview also. So he gave up his job and decided to help the misguided youth by helping them understand the message of Gita. He joined ISKCON Chowpatty as a resident in 2009. Later, he was posted to ISKCON Nasik Temple. He is serving as a youth counselor in various colleges of Nasik. He conducts seminars on personality development topics in education and corporate sectors. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so much Prabhuji for giving us your valuable time and association. And we are very fortunate, especially the youth are very fortunate who are all going to watch this interview to have your realizations and your joy and your experience in Krishna consciousness. Welcome to the call, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mati. Thank you for having me here on the show.
So, Prabhuji, just let us know, like, how you came into Krishna consciousness. So, yeah, we read your introduction that you are experiencing the joy in Krishna consciousness. So, can you mention what is the joy you are experiencing in this?
Yes. It was back in 2001, actually, when I met devotees for the first time. And as a youth, just like we see what has been portrayed in movies, a youngster with his friends, and he has his own group, and the kind of joy and enjoyment they are having. It was a general, typical lifestyle of a student that I was having then. My college life, in my junior college and senior college, junior college was the most enjoyable time that I had with my college friends. Senior college in engineering was also a very good time, but the enjoyment tendency that I carried from my junior college later on became an obstacle for my career. So just like any youth who tries to enjoy life in a way that he's been told that yes, this is enjoyment, we got that definition of enjoyment from somewhere else. It was not our own, or it was not a thoughtful definition that we had in our lives. So as a youth, we carried on with somebody else's giving us the definition of what enjoyment meant in life. And it was like, if you would ask me my college life, back in college life, we used to wear all those torn jeans, and we had long hairs, and we had all the French beard and whatever a youth thinks that this is the life he wants to be in. So it was the typical life. My waking time in during my college days was I used to wake up like 8:39, and at 10 we had college. So 9 o'clock we used to wake up. Then we used to just get fresh and rush to college because 10 o'clock was our attendance time. We used to be in the classes. Then 12:30 was break time. So after 12:30, if we would like, we would go to college. Otherwise, we would have heavy lunch and go to rest after 1 or 1:30. And then by 4 o'clock, college used to get over. But that was the time when we used to wake up when college is over. So then we used to take our bike, we used to go outside, and that was the routine we used to do. And Saturday Sunday was the time when all the boys and girls would go to a discotheque which was 25 kilometers from our college. So it was like used to start from our place at 9:30, reach there by 11, and then start the party. It used to end at 2:30. Then 2:30 we are getting back. 3:30 we reach to our place. 4 o'clock we take a rest, and the day goes on like that. So it was Saturday, Sunday. So it was a typical predefined happy life, so-called happy life. But when my graduation days, this kind of happiness took toll on my studies. I was not able to perform very well in my studies. And in the first year itself, I had three subjects as my backlog, which also came as a shock. Who was a very core devotee, and he being a very core devotee.
Prabhuji, sorry to interrupt. In between, around 10 seconds, we lost you. You were saying
Okay.
some core devotee
Okay.
who.
Yeah, so I had a project partner who was a core devotee. He used to stay in base. He used to, attend all the programs. And when I came in touch with him, as a student, the main task is to improve your studies. And so somehow, by his help, I could get very good grades. My grades improved drastically. My lifestyle improved drastically, and actual core understanding of my devotional practices started in my final year. It was the first time that I went to temple. Now why I'm telling you this is because, just like in introduction you told, that I came from a background where spirituality was questioned, and not only questioned, it was seriously questioned. Because I belong to a background, if you ask in Indian setting, I have come from a background which belongs to Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar. It's a very socially challenged background where not only spirituality, forget spirituality, the Vedic concept or the Vedic books are the first thing that they tell you to throw out of your house. So that is the background, that is the parentage that I've come, uh, where I was told that this is all myth, this is not to be practiced, this is nothing we have to do. But third and fourth year became the turning point where all the questions that I had in my mind, which I was told that they are not at all questions, we should not be thinking about them. The only goal of life is to earn money, become a great person, enjoy life. That's all. So from that time, things got challenged, and I got very logical, practical answers with proper references from certain type of books, and my doubts started getting cleared. Final year was the first time when I attended Gaur Purnima, and then life wasn't the same. It started rapidly changing after that, and my definition of happiness also changed. What a person I was, who used to wake up at 9 in the morning, I gradually moved on to 7, then 6, then 5. Then I started attending morning programs in the center there, and life drastically changed after that.
So nice, Prabhuji, but we cannot believe that you were like that. So
Yeah.
really very amazing that hearing your past how it was. And finally, I got impressed when you said that you attended this Gaur Purnima program. And so it's only Gaur Nitai who can change us. That's
Yes.
how you came in.
Yes, yes.
Gaur
Correct,
Purnima,
correct.
you got that realization of Krishna. So,
Yes.
okay, so now you shared, after coming into this, you shared your experience, like how you got impressed. Then from when you started to practice, like your japa and attending the programs, you said, right? When you got that, maybe as a neophyte, okay, we must have got impressed, okay, let me do. But when you got that realization, okay, I should do this, how you got that, okay, this is my real happiness? How you got that
yes,
realization?
yes. See, for every youngster, um, for him, what really matters is the experience that he gets in different types of events that take place in life. Because a person will always remember the experience. He may forget the event, but the experience stays back. So Gaur Purnima was the first day when I went to temple, and the program went on till 12:30. I mean, Gaur Purnima is not the time like Janmashtami where we stay awake till 12. But somehow
And
that
you
day,
were
what
saying,
happened?
sorry to interrupt, Prabhuji. And you were saying that your family background also is not supportive, right? So,
Yes,
which means
yes,
that
yes,
so
yes. I'll
then
I'll
how
come to
come?
that point.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay. Sorry. Yeah.
So, so that day somehow, first time I've been to the temple, and the first time I meet devotees, and somehow or other that whole program, I was just serving, serving, and serving. I took prasad last, and
Evo.
it was till 11:30, 12. We were dancing. Then some
Mm.
senior devotee came and he said, "Okay, this is all done now, because tomorrow morning 4:30 is our
Mangal.
morning program." So 12:30 we slept, and it was so amazing. It was so enlivening. For the first time I could feel that yes, there is something much bigger to life than what we are told. And you won't believe, for me, who used to wake up at 9 in the morning, it wasn't absolutely difficult for me. It was so easy. It was at so easy. It is as if I have been practicing to get up at 4 from long time. So I woke up with all the devotees around 3:45, 3:50, took bath, came there, attended morning program, did everything. And they told me that now you have to chant. I said, what chant? So they said, this is the mala, this is the mantra, you chant as much as possible. So I tried chanting. I felt really good. And the first impression was my mind, which was filled with such deep anxiety regarding my career, regarding my future. For the first time, I could feel that yes, this has released my mind from all the unnecessary anxiety and stress. Then later, I used to chant 2 rounds, 4 rounds, as and when possible, but not daily, because it was difficult for me to practice at home, because I belong to a very different social strata where my parents didn't allow me. One time, my mother saw me chanting, and she was like, it was such a surprise for her what this guy is doing. And that time, you won't believe, for to search my bead bag, it took me 15 days, because she hid my bead bag, thinking that what kind of things is this guy doing. So it took me 15 days to search, but then somehow I got back. Then I understood that this is not the place I should be chanting. So I didn't stay at my family place, but I used to stay with my brother. And initially hostel, then I shifted with my brother. So near my brother's house was a base, and that is the place where I used to go, and that's why I used to go very late. So when my brother was taking rest or he was watching TV, that was the time I used to take some time, do my japa, and come back. So gradually, when it started helping me in my studies, my mind started getting settled. I could feel the absolute difference, the stress, anxiety which I used to feel then and now. Yes, problems were not there. That was not the thing, but the strength I could get while chanting. And from day one, I can tell you, from day one, when I started chanting, I had that habit of sitting straight, and whatever job I was to be doing was sitting in one place with full attention. one devotee, he saw me chanting, and he saw a new voice chanting, and the way I was chanting, he said me, looks like you are a yoga bhrashta person. You must be practicing some kind of spirituality in your past life. So that gave me a boost that yes, this is the same principle that Gita 6th chapter says. So maybe I left something incomplete and I have to complete this. If not now, then maybe next life. If not next life, then some life. So I said, why wait? If that's the reality of life, then I thought that I have to do something. Then immediately what happened, that devotee said that there is something called as Pune Yatra, which His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj used to conduct. So he said, would you like to come? I said, yes. He said,
So
how
which
many rounds?
temple, again, sorry to interrupt, which temple you were sitting and chanting?
That was not a temple, that was a base. That was a youth center.
No, you
And
told that some devotee saw you, right? Someone saw you
yeah,
and
so he is the in charge of the center there, who saw
oh,
me chanting. He was the youth in charge, youth preacher, who saw me chanting there. And
okay.
he said that it looks like you have been practicing from many lives. That is why your chanting, your posture, your speech, everything is so clear. So I said, yes, I would like to attend Pune Yatra. Then he asked, how many rounds you chant? I said, sometimes I chant 6, sometimes I chant 8, but not more than that. He said, no, Pune Yatra means 16 rounders. You cannot join Pune Yatra without 16 rounds. So I said, how many days are remaining? He said, 3 days. So what if I start chanting 16 rounds from today? Will you take me? He said, yes, you start, I'll take you. So that was the time, just to attend Pune Yatra, I started chanting 16 rounds. And once I heard from His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj, then it was like no more looking back. I said I have to dedicate, because this is the path which has given me such clarity, which I was searching for all my life till then. So after that, I chanted regularly.
So nice to hear, Bauji. I think this is a struggle which everyone is finding also, right? Like how you said that
Yes,
you to that garage or the close place and sit and chanting. Yeah, so that's the thing which we are finding even now also in many youth,
yes,
even in few of us life also is like that only. But as you said, so this realization is really wonderful, Prabhuji. So after we start chanting, then we realize what's the what we are searching for and how we are feeling. That anxieties you had left.
yes.
That's really wonderful. And after that, what happened, Prabhuji? Means like your parents were okay. Means they must have at one. You went to Pune Yatra, right? So at that time, you should have
Yes.
asked with your to your parents, right? So what did
No,
they?
since I was staying in Pune at that time with my brother,
Uh-huh.
so for me, what I used to do, I used to tell my brother that we have a party, all the friends are getting, we have a get together, and so we are planning to go for an outing. So I'll be coming back at night.
Oh,
So morning I used to leave, I used to attend the whole program, have proper dinner at 8:30, and by 9:30 I used to come back. So this
okay,
is how I manage the yatra there.
okay. So
Yeah.
it's really, really amazing to
Yes.
hear the past tense. It's like the normal person who is facing now also, right? So
Yes.
they all these reasons and they get out of the house and they enjoy over there and come back.
Yes. Come back.
So, but why,
But
Prabhuji, have to struggle like this in this path? Why this much struggle is there when we say people are not understanding and they are getting bewildered, right? So, like when we say that I'm chanting, or otherwise, if parents, when they are, as you said, the parents when they see us sitting and chanting, they say, "You first keep all this aside. Why you are not eating onion, garlic? Why you have to
yes, yeah,
put it in your laws?"
yes,
Have to come out, be normal. So for the mundane
right,
people, it's like going along with the world is being normal. So when we
right,
are going,
right.
it's abnormal. Why they think like that? What is your
Uh,
position about that?
mm, it's very common, Mataji, because mm just like we read Bhagavad gives you in first canto or second canto, there is first canto itself. There is one shloka which says that what is the true goal of life and what is the false goal of life. So
Mhm.
it all depends upon what kind of propaganda is happening. Just like if we see the COVID time, in COVID times wearing a mask became so normal that people didn't even think that for coming 3 4 years we would be removing the mask. Okay,
Mhm.
because that time wearing a mask became so normal. Similarly, in the current times, not following any rules is the norm. It's normal not to follow anything. But when you do something which is not in sync or which doesn't match with the normal of the society, then they term you as abnormal. Okay, so what actually abnormal is what they are doing, because at least we have some references from the scriptures that yes, this is normal and this is not normal. But their normal is defined by a person who doesn't have any sense control for himself. They say, do what you like, do what your mind likes. So when we start practicing spirituality, it is challenging the normal they have been following for a long time. So when you challenge their normal, then they become insecure, and it is this insecurity in the parents, in the siblings, in the society, that speaks in different words. Maybe it's harsh, or maybe it's something that you wouldn't like to hear about spirituality. So it's that insecurity, because for them something else is normal and for us something else is normal. So as a student of Krishna consciousness, our normality is redefined, and when it doesn't match with their normality, then there are struggle times that rise up. So this is my thought process.
Yeah, yes, Prabhuji. So it takes time, right?
Yes, yes.
For so many past birth, all these things. So it takes time for us to get out of that. So, Prabhuji, so after this, how your progress was there about your initiation? How was it going on? So at that time, were your parents okay? Your family was okay with that?
My parents were never okay, right from the beginning, because see, the society from which I came uh, had a thinking that the suppression or the operation which our community had to face was exclusively because of the Brahmin community which dominated them, which exploited them. And when they heard that their son wants to join a community which most looks like a Brahmin community, so that made them even more furious. So my
So,
father,
probably at what age you got initiated then?
I got initiated quite late, Mataji. I got initiated when I was 28 years,
Mm-hmm.
28,
Okay.
29. Yes, yes. It took me
So till
long
then,
because,
needs to perform this chant, do this bhakti,
yes,
like chanting, sadhana, all these things. Your parents
yes.
must have, right?
They knew that I was chanting.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing happened that when I completed my graduation, then I shifted to, I got my post graduation from a very well known institute in Mumbai. And that institute, when I went to visit that institute, I found that there was a base very close by. So initially I didn't tell my parents that I am living with devotees, but somehow my brother who used to stay in Pune came one day to just find out where I was staying. And to his utter surprise, he found out that I was staying with devotees, which was like a shock for him. Okay, so he told my parents that, look, this is what is happening. He cheated and he's staying with those people again. So then they called me back, and there was a fight which took place. And it was till 2 in the morning that they said that nothing doing, you stay somewhere else. We are not allowing you to. I said, look, that is the place where at least I'll stay sane. Okay, forget chanting and all those things, but it is financially, economically also very good. Plus, the people are very good. Somehow I could manage, but they said, you promise that you are not going to completely join them. I said, okay, I promise. But then what happened, as I completed my graduation, I told them that I want to join, because I feel that I have inherent nature to be in full-time practices. You won't believe, my brother just came. He took my bag. He said, "Come, that car is waiting." He took me with him. He said, "No more looking back. Get all your stuff." He just took me to Mumbai. He called my parents from my native. My parents were not at my native place. They were in Chennai. He called them. The next flight they could get, they came to Pune, and things were worse. They said, "You're not going anywhere. You don't work. You just sit here and you don't go anywhere." So for 3 months, I was at home doing nothing after my post graduation. Then 3 months is quite some time. Then my brother says, "Do something." I said, "I have a job. I can get easily in Mumbai because I'm qualified from a very well known institute." So I got a job in Mumbai. So he said, "You stay anywhere, but you don't stay." I said, "Okay." But I stayed back again with devotees. I went back to temple. But just to show my parents that I'm not staying at the same place, I had one devotee friend who used to stay in Borivali. Our temple was in Chopati, Girgaon Chopati, and used to stay in Borivali. So whenever my parents used to visit me, that night itself I used to stay there and tell them. But what happened? My friend changed this place, and the new place I didn't know. And at that time, my parents told me that we are coming, and I called him. "Where are you?" He said, "Yeah, I've changed the place." I said, "You should have told me first." So I said, "Are you there at the place?" He said, "No, I'm out of town." I said, "Where is the key?" So I took the postal address from him. So I told him, "Send the postal address." I shared it with my brother. Before me reaching, my brother and my sisters and my family reached that place to see where do I stay. Then they reached before me. They said, "Where is the key?" I said, "The auntie next door, she has the key." But the next door auntie didn't have. The auntie was staying on the upper floor. She had the key. So they were shocked. "How come you don't know that the auntie has one?" I said, "The my partner, he didn't tell me properly, so he kept it there." So we got that key. Then he said, "Okay, which is your room?" And I was entering in that room for the first time. I didn't know what it meant to be there. And he said, "Where is the kitchen? Where is this?" And I didn't know anything about that room because it was the first time I was going there. So they got a doubt that he doesn't stay here. But then somehow I managed them that now I stay here. This is this, this is this. And then they ask, "Who's the landlord? Can we meet the landlord?" Why do I know who the landlord is and who is all? But somehow I managed. They stayed there for the whole night. Next, they said, "Okay, you stay here, but you don't meet those people." And somehow I managed 2 years. And it was then 2008. I completed my VTO also. Then temple authorities told that if you want to join, you'll have to convince your parents, otherwise we won't allow you to join. Then one devotee from Pune temple was sent to my father, to my brother's place, and who told him that your brother desires to join. So if he wants to join, let it be. We have no problem. And if he doesn't want to, still we are okay. But the decision has to be in between you, whether you allow him to join or not. That is to be very clear, because the temple will not take any responsibility for your child. And that was it. Then there was nothing doing. They immediately took me from Pune. They shifted me back to my native place, which is a small town. And I had to stay there for 1.5 years. No going outside of house. Just to convert my mind, they took me for a 3 months vacation to Australia, where my sister stays. And it for me, it was a very different experience because it was a foreign land, all white people.
So, Prabhuji,
And
then how you managed your food and all at those
uh,
times?
food was, I had told my mother, she used to cook for me, because for quite some days I stayed fasting. And of course, she's a mother, so she said, "Okay, I'll cook, but you don't do other things. I'll cook for you without onion and garlic." So all the while she managed cooking for me, because she didn't leave me. My father used to work, so she stayed full time with me, just to see that I'm not going anywhere. So then they took me to Australia, just because my mind would change. But it was a difficult phase, because of course, for a person who has stayed in village to go to a place where such tempting atmospheres is seen. So, but by then I was constantly in touch with my counselors. His Grace Gaur Prabhu was my counselor, he used to guide me then. So what all he told, I started doing that. And after 1.5 years, I managed to convince them that I want to be there with devotees. So after 1.5 years, then they left me when I joined the temple.
Very nice. Very nice journey. So it's really, we can experience like how much struggle you must have gone through. So, and yeah, so even all the viewers who are seeing this also must be experiencing, so we can take your life as an example. So like how to come out of that. So if there is no other way, I want to do bhakti. So um, that is a standpoint where we have to boldly tell to.
Yes, correct,
So
correct.
yeah, so that's all. But when we are unmarried, it's fine, Prabhuji. But when if for a grahastha, after marrying, they must have come into bhakti, right? So at that time, be a spouse, either one of these spouses in bhakti. So then it's difficult for them to express also. So what do you like to say to them, Prabhuji? Like how they can practice, or how can they convince? If not convincing also, how can they lead their life? Because they will be having children and their family members, both the sides, the side and their
Right.
family. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, it indeed is a struggle for a devotee who is in the Grahastha ashram. At times, either Mataji or Prabhuji is a devotee and others are not. But what I have seen in last 20 years of my practice as a sadhaka, uh, the level of sincerity that you carry in yourself, in your spiritual practices, that indeed has a deep effect on the people who are seeing you. So if your practices are sincere and genuine, it's just matter of time that things will start to change. The people whom you are staying with will gradually start and accept, not only accept, most of the time they start following. The mistake that most of the sadhakas, may them be brahmacharis who want to join, or grahasthas or future grahasthas youth, is that they portray Krishna consciousness as something very different and something very unnatural. uh, Initial rigidity that is shown in itself becomes a hindrance for them. Okay, so if you are a grahastha, married, family, kids, and after some time you come into this path of Krishna consciousness, initially you should be very clear that you are the one who has chosen this path. It's your choice. Okay, since it is your choice, you cannot impose that choice on somebody else. And most of the students or the sadhakas, they make this, that since I am following, they try and impose this on their family. If you don't want to eat with onion garlic, it's okay, that's for you, it's not for them. Being a grahastha, you have a person who can cook separately for you. Initially they may not cook for you, saying that we have to cook 2 times separate for you. Okay, that's there. But once your practices are sincere and they are not forcing somebody else, it's only a matter of time. Things do change. And in past 20 years, I've seen n number of family members, the entire family has become devotees because the person is matured. He understands the need of the people whom he's staying with. At the same time, he's genuine in his practices. So over a period of time, Krishna makes that facility for him to have all those things that he wants, which are necessary for his spiritual practices.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. So only we have to wait for the
Yes,
time.
have that patience.
And
Yes,
then we have to be very tolerant and very patient, because
yes,
we can see when we are doing bhakti, we even Prabhupada also in many purports he must have mentioned that persons who are doing bhakti, they will be criticized often, right? So, but those things we have to tolerate, right? So, but
yes.
the tolerance is, I think, checkpoint for each and every devotee who is practicing.
Yes, yes,
So
yes,
where Krishna is also what to say? He is also testing at that point. So
yes,
with
yes.
so much tolerance, yeah.
He is the one who is enjoying the entire thing.
As you said in your
So,
today's class,
yes,
Prabhuji, I just remember.
yes.
So yeah,
Hmm.
I just had this one in my mind. Like your classes are really amazing. It's so many filled with so many stories. And dear devotees who are all watching, please watch Prabhuji's class. He gives so many pastimes, so many kathas, which is relative to this present life also. And Prabhuji, so he gives so many kathas, right? So it was really amazing. Even yesterday's class also, when I heard. So I was thinking how this Prabhuji is giving so much pastimes back to back. So I just want to know how you get all these pastimes for the class. You take it, or like how is your reading, Prabhuji? How do you read all these shastras? In your
Yes,
viewpoint, how do you read the Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam?
yes. Uh, According to the audience of the Yuga, there are books that are given. Okay, if it's Satyuga, it's the oral reception process, which we call Shruti. And after Treta Yuga, the memory power, intellectual power starts decreasing. And then things which were in the oral tradition were started coming up in written tradition. So, in all the yugas, there is one thing that is common. May it be Satya, Treta, Dwapar, or Kali. It's a human tendency to relate more to stories. Even in Upanishad, you will find stories. Why? Because the human mind is made in such a way that it makes it very easy for him to relate to a story, because most of the time a person tries and find out, okay, what's there in it for me, what's there to learn it from that event. So stories are the easiest way in which a person can communicate the toughest of the philosophical points. And that is why when Vyasadev understood that, oh, I have written four Vedas, 108 Upanishads, but this is not for all audience. This is for very peculiar set of audience. But even if the top class audience and even if the very simple audience have to be given the entire plethora of Vedic understanding, there in his mind comes the idea of creating Shri Mahabharata. So Mahabharata is Pancham Vedo, Bharato Panchamo Vedo. Mahabharata, he says, whatever I had to say in the four Vedas, I have presented in this Mahabharata. If you can't read the four Vedas and Upanishads, no problem. Read Mahabharata, which is filled with stories, which is filled with dharma, which will help you elevate your consciousness. So that's the easiest way. So stories is the easy way by which we can connect to human minds. And once the human mind connects to that stories and try and understand the lesson given him, then it becomes very easy for him to follow things in life. So philosophy and story. Why Bhagavad is so prominent? Because Bhagavad is also Siddhanta Grantha, because there are all critical, tough philosophical points, but they are elaborated later on in form of connecting stories. So Tattva and Katha, when both go together, it's a very deadly combination which any person can easily understand. And that is what I learned from my own spiritual master, and especially from His Holiness Radha Govinda Maharaj, whose kathas I have heard in great detail. Hours and hours of hearing I have done, especially of these two senior authorities, Vartamana Acharyas. And one is expert in katha, other is expert in katha and siddhanta. So from His Holiness Radha Govind Maharaj, I have heard huge amount of katha. Most of the kathas that I quote are from His Holiness Radha Govind Maharaj's classes, because he on and off quotes Rup Goswami in great detail. Most of the story that he takes is from the Puranas. Okay, and others, when I joined ashram, I had quite some time. because not many services, temple was very small. So that was the time when I read Ramayana and Mahabharata to a great detail. I have read Mahabharata almost twice, condensed version I've read twice. So those stories have made a great impact in my life. Actual uh, core following of dharma or do's and don'ts in spiritual life for me has come from Mahabharata, because those stories have left a great impact on me getting evolved. So yes, stories do help us evolve because they carry a very strong message in them. So that is the formula that I use for my kathas also.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji, for giving us such presenting your class so scholarly, and we are really very indebted to have your association. So with so many kathas, I really show your classes with all the kathas. So Prabhuji, what is your advice for the neophyte, Prabhuji, in Krishna consciousness? So neophyte, they must have joined newly, so they must be struggling. Yes, you shared your experience, but still, what about them? See, a few of them, they feel like, okay, I don't want this Sangha, so I just want to run away because they are facing so many troubles. So without moving like that, how they can sustain in this?
Okay. Uh, for anyone who wants to sustain in any kind of association or any kind of sangha, they have to create their existence based on certain kind of philosophy. Okay, so philosophy is a compulsory part in life. It can be spiritual, it can be own created, but there has to be some kind of philosophy or some kind of understanding in life, and only then you can lead a life which can give you at least some satisfaction. Okay, so that understanding part is very crucial. Similarly, for a devotee who wants to practice Krishna consciousness comes with a proper understanding of the do's and don'ts. Just like Upadesh Amrit, initially the six shlokas are nothing but the do's and don'ts. This has to be done, this has to be avoided. So do's and don'ts have to be clear. So the philosophical understanding, till the time it is not clear, neither can you sustain in the outside world, neither can you sustain in the devotee community. So if you want to, even if you want to avoid devotee community, it's okay. It's up to the jiva. It's up to the person who has to take this call. That this life which I have got, what's the purpose or what's the thing that I would like to use it for? It's his own call, but that understanding has to be very clear. First thing. Second thing is, if you want to be a part of any community and grow up in that community, take your corporate world or take your spiritual community, you will need a mentor. There is a very beautiful saying in English: want to soar, have a mentor. If you want to soar high in your life, if you want to soar high in your career or any aspect of life, you need to have a mentor. Without a mentor, you won't be able to grow to great heights, because the entire learning process takes immense time, immense energy, immense resources, and we don't have that much time, energy, resources. So when you have a mentor, all these things are reduced to a great extent. That's the power of having a great mentor. When you have a mentor, you need not go through all the difficult and rough phases of life. The mentor makes things very easy, but the mentor doesn't mean that he does your hand holding. No, mentor means he understands your mind, he understands your personality, and according to the event, he tells that as per your personality, what I have seen you, what time I have spent with you, these are the 2 3 options that I feel are good for you. You choose. When that person is told to choose, then the onus, then the responsibility of the decision and the outcome of the decision entirely goes to the person. It doesn't come to the mentor. And this is where the youth today is lacking, or I would say is avoiding. They want to avoid the responsibility part. They want to make choices of their own, they want to decide the way of life, but they don't want to take the responsibilities that come with their decision. So we need a guide, we need a coach who can help us in all walks of life.
So that's why we always say that guru is necessary, right?
Yes.
Like
Yes.
and in schools also, for each and every subject we have teachers. So without
Correct.
the teacher, we cannot study. So
Correct.
same way, even in spiritual path also, we need our
Yes.
guru.
Yes. We need a person. Perfect.
And also,
We need
devotees association helps a lot. So,
yes. Yes.
so yeah, so in your path of bhakti, Prabhuji, if you want to tell someone as an inspiration, whom do you say?
For me, I had a
Who inspires
opportunity
you?
to see my spiritual masters in a very close area. Means I have been with him in very close quarters, and I have heard from him. And not only I've heard from him, I have seen him in action. So that became a great treasure for me. When I heard, I every lecture that my Guru Maharaj gave when I was a neophyte, or when I was a struggling sadhaka, when I was in my base, when I was in my college, I have all lectures in written form. I have huge books where I have
Wow.
noted his lectures. Yes. My hearing has always been of great clarity and quality. If any speaker, be it any speaker, a neophyte devotee, a senior or a junior, my hearing to him is very genuine and very focused. If somebody disturbs my hearing, I am really angered, because that is the source of my nourishment. So even in our temple, I have a absolutely separate place where I sit below a speaker. Since I have some hearing issues also, I sit below a speaker. I have my different chair, I have my different table, and that is how I hear, that is how I note, because that hearing has nourished me to such great depth that even in my struggling times, that hearing has kept me sane. I haven't lost control of my mind at any given time. So I had a great facility to hear from my spiritual master and see my spiritual master in action. And since I have seen him, I have observed him, how he deals with ladies, how he deals with kids, how he deals with senior people, how he deals with politicians. I have seen him in close quarters. And that has given me great confidence in the process, great confidence in the Shastras, because never have I seen him in any forum where he's not quoting Shastras, where he's not quoting Prabhupada, where he's not quoting the Acharyas. So his presence has made a great impact in my life, and all thanks to Shri Shri Radha Gopinath Mandir and the authorities there who gave me 6, 7, 8 years to be the part of that community, where Maharaj used to spend 6 months at a stretch. So 6 months was like feasting. We have heard Maharaj for 5 hours, 6 hours at a stretch. His Vrindavan Yatra is like 6 hours, 7 hours. Morning 7 o'clock you start, the 5 o'clock you start the parikrama. The parikrama ends at 7 in evening, 8 in night. That is the kind of nourishment our Guru Maharaj has given us. So it's all, if I am successful, even if in a bit or pieces, it's all credited to my spiritual master and to my mentors, Gaurang Prabhu, Gaur Gopal Prabhu, Shamanand Prabhu, all the seniors whom I have personally seen acting, how they act, how they behave, how they deal, how they study the books. It's all theirs. It's all theirs.
That's really very fortunate, Prabhuji. So
Yeah.
very nice to hear, and we are very fortunate actually to have your association, because we have seen your Guru Maharaj in person. He has served him also, so we are really very fortunate. Thank you so much for that, Prabhuji. So finally, Prabhuji, how did you get involved in this Bhakti Sangha forum? How you got connected to us?
It was a trap. Actually, it was Har Grace Shama Gauri Mataji, and I think it was COVID times, I guess, in 2020 or 2021, that I started visiting Bhakti Sangha. And she was in search of speakers who could deliver English classes. And she found one devotee from Nasik who gave one class. And it was, I think, our temple president, His Grace Krishnadhan Prabhu. And sometimes so happened that Bhakti Sangha was falling short of speakers. Crowd was increasing, but there were no speakers. So she was in desperate need.
COVID time also, no? So
Yes,
all
yes. I think it's COVID time.
coming in Zoom. Wherever
Yes,
the
yes.
there, but it's really very thankful to Zoom only actually.
Yes, yes.
Time at that time. Yeah, go ahead, Prabhu. Sorry.
And then he told that we have somebody who can deliver English classes. Then he gave my number. And then, I don't know how things were placed by Krishna. She came to know that I am also from the place where she belongs to in Maharashtra. She is a Maharashtrian, and her native place is 1 hour drive from my place.
Okay.
So she trapped me. She said, and she started speaking in Marathi, which is her native language also, and my native. So I thought some Indian lady and must be telling me to deliver class in India. I said, yes, I'll come. But later on, I came to know that this is not Indian crowd. This is devotees who have settled in the Western world. And she said, no, you have to come. You gave nice class. All devotees were happy. And she has one very strong quality, which I would never forget, which I've learned from her, is her follow-up. She is so pakka in her follow-up. She won't leave you till you give your date. So she'll keep messaging, voice message, text message, call, whatever is possible. And once she gets the date, then she's happy. So she kept on following, and then later she said, no, you please come 15 days at least once you try. So I said, okay, if possible, 15 days, I can surely serve all the devotees.
Then actually we should say to Shyamagauri Mataji to call
Yes, yes. All
weekly
credits
once.
to her. Yes.
We should call you weekly once.
It was only because of
That's
her I
we are
came
here.
there.
Okay, so you got connected through Shyamagauri Mataji. So yeah, so certainly thanks to her. And so after coming into Bhakti Sangha, how you found this forums to be, and any improvisations you want to advise for Bhakti Sangha, Prabhuji?
Bhakti Sangha.
Krishna, 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 Hare Hare.
There is daily Chaitanya Charitamrita class. You have Saturday, Sunday, kids school. There are so many forums that you have already established, and they are functional from last, I don't know how many, 2, 3, 4 years. They're absolutely functional. And yes, devotees, their kids, their family are getting benefit. So we are eternally thankful to Bhakti Sangha Japa Group for establishing this forum, not only establishing, maintaining it, not only maintaining it, helping it grow all the while. So all the organizers of Bhakti Sangha Group, we are so grateful that yes, this is a forum where devotees always want to join in and always want to hear, because there is such great variety of speakers, such great topics are being discussed. So we are ever grateful to all of you. Thank you so much, Mataji, for this.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So actually, we are running about like around 10 years more.
Oh,
and
10
we are
years.
also very fortunate. It's all because of Shyamagauri Mataji. So, and we are also very fortunate to have you all like great speakers like you all on the call. So it's only because of you that we are able to run this forum. And it's like a virtual temple actually. So full day, if you see, it's plugged with class.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I am really unfortunate to go up in log into other classes because they have so many other kids classes also. So
Yes.
since
Yes.
from different destination and their destination is different, it's really the timing is not possible, but still it's very good. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for giving us your association. And with this, I think we can end the interview here. And thank you for your association and for your valuable time and accepting us and coming on the call and giving us this very special interview. And belated wishes for all the festivals which happened for this month.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
And Prabhupada Nandotsava, Prabhupada Parents' Day, everything.
Nandotsav, appearance day.
Thank
Yes,
you,
ma'am.
Prabhu.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Hare Krishna.
I'll stop the recording.